The transition from the Paleozoic to the Mesozoic era marked a profound shift in the evolutionary landscape of our planet. As we explored the dramatic changes that followed the Permian-Triassic extinction event, we witnessed the emergence of new life forms that would reshape the biological world. Yet, beneath the towering presence of the dinosaurs that would come to dominate the Mesozoic, another group of vertebrates was quietly beginning their own remarkable evolutionary journey. These were the earliest mammals, creatures whose ancestors would eventually give rise to the diverse array of mammalian life we see today. The story of early mammalian evolution begins not with the mammals themselves, but with their predecessors, a group of reptiles known as therapsids. These fascinating creatures emerged during the Permian period roughly 275 million years ago and represented a crucial evolutionary bridge between the reptilian world and the mammalian future that lay ahead. Therapsids were part of a larger group called synapsids, distinguished by having a single opening in the skull behind each eye socket, a feature that would become characteristic of the mammalian lineage. The therapsids were remarkably diverse, ranging from small, agile predators to massive herbivores that rivaled the dinosaurs in size. What made them particularly significant was their gradual acquisition of mammal-like characteristics over millions of years of evolution. These changes were not sudden transformations, but rather a slow accumulation of traits that would eventually define what we recognize as mammalian biology today. One of the most important innovations of the therapsids was their approach to temperature regulation. Unlike their reptilian contemporaries, many therapsids showed evidence of being warm-blooded or endothermic. This metabolic advancement allowed them to maintain consistent body temperatures regardless of environmental conditions, providing them with increased activity levels and the ability to inhabit a wider range of ecological niches. The development of endothermy was a crucial step toward mammalian physiology. The dental evolution of therapsids represents another fascinating aspect of their transition toward mammalian characteristics. Early synapsids possessed relatively simple, uniform teeth, similar to those of reptiles. However, as therapsids evolved, their teeth became increasingly specialized and differentiated. They developed distinct incisors for cutting, canines for piercing, and molars for grinding, a pattern known as heterodonty that would become a hallmark of mammalian dentition. This dental specialization reflected broader changes in feeding strategies and digestive processes. The ability to process food more efficiently in the mouth through specialized chewing reduced the energy requirements for digestion and allowed for more effective nutrient extraction from various food sources. This adaptation proved particularly valuable during times of environmental stress or food scarcity. The postcranial skeleton of therapsids also underwent significant modifications that presaged mammalian anatomy. Their limbs gradually shifted from the sprawling posture typical of reptiles to a more erect stance, with legs positioned more directly beneath the body. This change improved locomotor efficiency and contributed to their ability to sustain higher activity levels, supporting their increasingly mammal-like metabolism. Perhaps most importantly, therapsids began to exhibit evidence of parental care behaviors that would become central to mammalian reproductive strategies. Fossil evidence suggests that some therapsids may have provided extended care for their young, a significant departure from the typical reptilian pattern of minimal parental investment. This behavioral shift had profound implications for brain development, social organization, and survival strategies. The diversity of therapsids was remarkable, encompassing numerous families and ecological roles. The dicynodonts were among the most successful, representing a group of herbivorous therapsids that dominated many terrestrial ecosystems during the late Permian and early Triassic periods. These creatures possessed distinctive beaked skulls and, in many cases, prominent tusks that gave them their name, which means two dog teeth. Some dicynodonts reached enormous sizes, with species like Lysowichia reaching lengths of nearly 15 feet and weights comparable to modern elephants. The cynodonts represented another crucial group of therapsids, and it was from this lineage that the first true mammals would eventually emerge. Cynodonts, whose name means dog teeth, displayed the most mammal-like characteristics of any therapsid group. They possessed highly differentiated teeth, enlarged brain cases, and evidence of hair or fur-like body coverings. Their skulls showed modifications associated with improved jaw mechanics and potentially enhanced sensory capabilities. The evolution of hair or fur in cynodonts represents one of the most significant innovations in the transition to mammalian biology. While direct evidence of hair in fossil therapsids is rare due to the poor preservation potential of soft tissues, indirect evidence suggests that hair-like structures evolved relatively early in the cynodont lineage. Hair serves multiple functions in mammals, including thermal insulation, sensory perception, and social signaling, and its evolution was likely closely tied to the development of endothermy. The development of mammary glands, perhaps the most defining characteristic of mammals, likely had its origins in the therapsid lineage as well. While mammary glands themselves do not fossilize, the evolution of parental care behaviors in therapsids suggests that the foundations for mammalian reproduction were being established. The ability to provide nourishment to offspring through specialized glands would have offered significant advantages in terms of offspring survival and allowed for extended periods of parental care and learning. The brain evolution of therapsids shows clear trends toward increased complexity and size relative to body mass. Endocasts of theropsid skulls reveal progressively larger brain cavities, particularly in the regions associated with sensory processing and motor control. This neural expansion was likely related to their increasingly complex behaviors, enhanced sensory capabilities, and the demands of maintaining homeothermy. The respiratory system of therapsids also underwent significant modifications that would prove crucial for mammalian physiology. Evidence suggests that advanced therapsids possessed a secondary palate, a bony shelf that separated the nasal cavity from the mouth. This adaptation allowed for simultaneous breathing and eating, a capability that would prove essential for the high metabolic demands of mammalian life. The development of a secondary palate also facilitated more efficient processing of food through extended chewing. The transitional nature of therapsids is perhaps best exemplified by their reproductive strategies. While early therapsids likely laid eggs like their reptilian ancestors, evidence suggests that some later forms may have given birth to live young. This shift toward viviparity would have provided several advantages, including better protection for developing embryos and the ability to provide more direct parental care from the moment of birth. The social behaviors of therapsids remain a subject of active research, but fossil evidence suggests that some species may have lived in groups or exhibited complex social structures. Bone beds containing multiple individuals of the same species have been discovered, indicating that at least some therapsids may have engaged in herding behaviors or communal living arrangements. These social adaptations would have provided benefits in terms of predator detection, resource location, and offspring protection. The extinction patterns of therapsids reveal important insights into the evolutionary pressures that shaped early mammalian evolution. The end-Permian extinction event eliminated many therapsid lineages, but the surviving groups, particularly the cynodonts, underwent rapid diversification during the Triassic period. This adaptive radiation set the stage for the eventual emergence of true mammals and demonstrated the evolutionary potential of the therapsid body plan. The cynodonts that survived into the Triassic period became increasingly mammal-like in their characteristics. Species like Thrinaxodon displayed many features that would become standard in mammalian anatomy, including a more complex jaw structure, differentiated teeth, and evidence of hair-like body coverings. These creatures represented the final stages of the therapsid to mammal transition and provide crucial insights into the evolutionary processes that gave rise to mammalian biology. The study of therapsid evolution has been greatly enhanced by discoveries from various fossil localities around the world. The Karoo Basin of South Africa has yielded particularly rich therapsid faunas, providing detailed insights into the diversity and evolution of these remarkable creatures. Russian deposits have also contributed significantly to our understanding of therapsid biology, revealing new species and providing evidence of their complex ecological relationships. The legacy of therapsids extends far beyond their role as evolutionary intermediates. Their innovations in physiology, behavior, and anatomy laid the groundwork for the mammalian radiation that would follow. The metabolic strategies, reproductive behaviors, and social structures that evolved in therapsids would prove crucial for mammalian success in the post-dinosaur world as we continue to uncover new fossil evidence and apply advanced analytical techniques to existing specimens. Our understanding of therapsid evolution continues to evolve. These remarkable creatures represent one of the most important evolutionary transitions in vertebrate history, demonstrating the gradual nature of major evolutionary changes and the complex interplay between environmental pressures and biological innovation. The story of therapsids serves as a powerful reminder of the deep evolutionary roots of mammalian characteristics and the long history of adaptation that preceded the emergence of our own mammalian heritage. Their evolutionary journey from reptilian ancestors to mammal-like descendants represents a testament to the power of natural selection and the remarkable potential for life to adapt and diversify in response to changing environmental conditions. As the Triassic period gave way to the Jurassic, roughly 200 million years ago, the stage was set for one of the most remarkable evolutionary transitions in Earth's history. The early mammalian ancestors, those small synapsids that had survived the Great Dying, began to undergo profound changes that would eventually lead to the diverse mammalian world we know today. During this period, a group called the Eucynodonts emerged as the dominant mammal-like reptiles. These creatures, no larger than modern house cats, possessed a fascinating combination of reptilian and mammalian characteristics. Their skulls showed remarkable advancement, with enlarged brain cases that housed more sophisticated nervous systems than their predecessors. The temporal fenestrae, those crucial openings behind the eye sockets, had evolved to accommodate increasingly complex jaw musculature. Perhaps most significantly, the Eucynodonts developed what paleontologists call the mammalian jaw joint. Unlike their ancestors, these creatures possessed a joint between the dentary and squamosal bones, the same configuration found in all modern mammals. This seemingly small anatomical change represented a fundamental shift in how these animals processed food, and, by extension, how they could exploit their environment. The teeth of Eucynodonts tell a story of dietary specialization that would become a hallmark of mammalian evolution. Rather than the simple, cone-shaped teeth of earlier synapsids, these creatures developed complex dental batteries with distinct incisors, canines, and cheek teeth. Each tooth type served a specific function in the mechanical breakdown of food, allowing for more efficient digestion and energy extraction. Evidence suggests that many Eucynodonts possessed hair-like integumentary structures, though the fossil record remains frustratingly incomplete regarding soft tissue preservation. However, the presence of whisker pits and other sensory adaptations in their skulls strongly indicates that these creatures had developed sophisticated tactile capabilities. This enhanced sensory apparatus would have been particularly valuable for nocturnal foraging and navigation through complex environments. The postcranial skeleton of Eucynodonts reveals further mammalian characteristics. Their limbs had begun to adopt a more upright posture, moving away from the sprawling gait of earlier synapsids. The vertebral column showed increased regionalization, with distinct cervical, thoracic, and lumbar sections that provided greater flexibility and efficiency in locomotion. One of the most intriguing aspects of Eucynodont evolution concerns their metabolic capabilities. While direct evidence remains elusive, several anatomical features suggest these creatures were developing increasingly sophisticated thermoregulatory abilities. The presence of turbinate bones in their nasal passages indicates an enhanced capacity for warming and humidifying inhaled air, a crucial adaptation for maintaining stable internal temperatures. The respiratory system of Eucynodonts also underwent significant modifications. The development of a more complete secondary palate allowed for simultaneous breathing and feeding, a critical advantage that would become standard in all later mammals. This anatomical innovation permitted longer, more sustained feeding sessions and contributed to the overall efficiency of their metabolic processes. During the late Triassic, approximately 220 million years ago, the first true mammals began to appear. These creatures, known as morganucodontids, represented the culmination of the mammal-like reptile evolutionary trajectory. Though still quite small, rarely exceeding the size of a modern shrew, these early mammals possessed all the defining characteristics of their lineage. The morganucodontids displayed fully developed mammalian jaw joints, complex tooth replacement patterns, and evidence of enhanced brain development. Their skulls housed proportionally larger brains than their predecessors. suggesting increased cognitive capabilities that would prove essential for their survival in a world dominated by dinosaurs. Perhaps most remarkably, evidence suggests that these early mammals had developed lactation, the defining characteristic of their class. While direct fossil evidence of mammary glands remains impossible to preserve, the presence of specialized tooth wear patterns in juveniles indicates a period of milk feeding before the eruption of permanent teeth. The evolution of lactation represents one of the most significant innovations in vertebrate history. This adaptation allowed mammalian mothers to provide highly nutritious, easily digestible food to their offspring during the most vulnerable period of development. The benefits extended beyond simple nutrition, as milk also provided essential antibodies and other immune factors that enhanced juvenile survival rates. Concurrent with these physiological developments, early mammals began to exhibit increasingly sophisticated reproductive strategies. Unlike the egg-laying habits of their reptilian ancestors, many early mammals appear to have developed viviparity, giving birth to live young. This reproductive innovation provided several advantages, including enhanced protection of developing embryos and greater maternal control over the timing of birth. The social implications of these reproductive changes cannot be overstated. The extended period of maternal care required by mammalian reproduction likely led to the development of more complex social structures and behavioral repertoires. Early mammals probably lived in small family groups, with mothers investing considerable time and energy in the care and education of their offspring. The nocturnal lifestyle adopted by many early mammals represents another crucial adaptation that shaped their evolutionary trajectory. The dominance of dinosaurs during daylight hours created selective pressure for mammals to exploit nighttime ecological niches. This shift to nocturnality required enhanced sensory capabilities, particularly improved hearing and tactile sensitivity. The auditory system of early mammals underwent remarkable refinement during this period. The evolution of the mammalian middle ear, with its 3 distinct bones derived from former jaw elements, provided unprecedented sensitivity to airborne vibrations. This enhanced hearing capability proved essential for nocturnal navigation, predator detection, and intraspecific communication. The development of whiskers and other specialized tactile structures further augmented the sensory capabilities of early mammals. These adaptations allowed for precise navigation in low-light conditions and enhanced the ability to locate food sources through touch and vibration detection. As the Jurassic period progressed, mammalian diversity began to expand slowly but steadily. Different lineages explored various ecological niches, from arboreal gliding forms to semi-aquatic species. This early diversification laid the groundwork for the explosive radiation that would follow the eventual extinction of non-avian dinosaurs. The fossil record from formations such as the Morrison Formation in North America and the Solnhofen limestone in Germany provides glimpses into this early mammalian world. These deposits preserve not only skeletal remains, but also rare instances of soft tissue preservation that offer invaluable insights into the biology of these ancient creatures. The metabolic capabilities of early mammals continued to evolve throughout the Jurassic period. Evidence suggests that many lineages developed increasingly sophisticated thermoregulatory abilities, moving toward the endothermic metabolism that characterizes modern mammals. This metabolic advancement provided significant advantages in terms of activity levels and environmental tolerance. The digestive systems of early mammals also underwent considerable refinement. The development of more complex stomach structures and elongated intestinal tracts allowed for more efficient processing of varied food sources. This digestive versatility proved crucial for survival in fluctuating environments and seasonal food availability. Throughout this remarkable evolutionary journey, the mammalian lineage faced constant challenges from the dominant reptilian fauna of the Mesozoic. The success of early mammals depended on their ability to exploit ecological niches that were either unavailable to or ignored by their larger contemporaries. This pressure led to the development of highly specialized adaptations that would serve as the foundation for future mammalian success. The story of early mammalian evolution during the Jurassic period represents one of the most fascinating chapters in the history of life on Earth. These small, seemingly insignificant creatures carried within their genes the blueprint for an entire class of animals that would eventually inherit the Earth. Their legacy continues to shape our understanding of evolution, adaptation, and the remarkable resilience of life in the face of environmental challenges. As we venture deeper into the sprawling epochs of mammalian evolution, the narrative becomes increasingly intricate and fascinating. The early mammals that survived the Permian-Triassic extinction event had established the fundamental characteristics that would define their lineage for millions of years to come, yet their story was far from complete. During the Middle and Late Triassic periods, these pioneering creatures continued to refine their adaptations, setting the stage for an evolutionary radiation that would eventually see mammals inherit the Earth. The cynodonts, those remarkable therapsid ancestors, had already achieved many mammalian traits by the Middle Triassic. Their descendants pushed these innovations even further. Advanced cynodonts like Cynognathus displayed increasingly sophisticated jaw mechanics with multiple roots on their teeth and complex chewing patterns that allowed for more efficient food processing. This dental evolution represented more than mere feeding adaptation. It signaled the development of precise muscular control and neural coordination that would become hallmarks of mammalian biology. Temperature regulation became increasingly refined during this period. While earlier therapsids had likely been somewhat warm-blooded, the advanced cynodonts of the Middle Triassic showed clear evidence of sophisticated metabolic control. Bone histology from fossils reveals growth patterns consistent with sustained, regulated body temperatures. This metabolic mastery freed these animals from the thermal constraints that limited their reptilian contemporaries, allowing them to remain active during cooler periods and exploit ecological niches unavailable to cold-blooded creatures. The respiratory systems of these advanced therapsids underwent remarkable modifications. Evidence suggests the development of a secondary palate, separating the breathing passage from the mouth cavity. This seemingly simple anatomical change had profound implications. It allowed continuous breathing while feeding, a crucial adaptation for animals with high metabolic rates. The efficiency gains from this modification supported the energetically demanding lifestyle that warm-bloodedness required. Reproductive strategies also evolved during this crucial period. While direct evidence of live birth remains elusive in the fossil record, Indirect indicators suggest that some advanced cynodonts may have begun experimenting with extended parental care. Fossilized burrows associated with cynodont remains hint at den-building behavior, suggesting that these animals invested considerable energy in protecting their offspring. This represents a fundamental shift from the reproductive strategies of most reptiles, which typically provide minimal parental investment after egg laying. The sensory capabilities of these creatures expanded dramatically. Brain endocasts reveal enlarged olfactory regions, suggesting that scent-based communication and environmental assessment became increasingly important. Enhanced hearing capabilities, evidenced by modifications to the middle ear region, allowed for more sophisticated acoustic communication and predator detection. These sensory improvements supported more complex social behaviors and environmental awareness. During the late Triassic, the lineages that would eventually give rise to true mammals began to diverge more clearly. The Eucynodonts, representing the most advanced therapsid group, split into several distinct evolutionary paths. Some lineages, like the Traversodontids, specialized as herbivores with complex dental batteries for processing plant material. Others, such as the Chiniquodontids, developed into sophisticated predators with enlarged canine teeth and powerful jaw muscles. The Tritylodontids emerged as perhaps the most mammal-like of all therapsids during this period. These remarkable creatures possess many features that would later characterize true mammals. Their teeth showed clear differentiation into incisors, canines, and complex grinding molars. Their skulls exhibited the enlarged brain cases associated with enhanced cognitive abilities. Most significantly, they displayed evidence of hair-like integumentary structures, representing one of the earliest confirmations of this distinctly mammalian feature. Yet even as these advanced therapsids flourished, the late Triassic brought new challenges. Climate fluctuations and ecological disruptions tested the adaptability of all terrestrial vertebrates. Many therapsid lineages that had thrived during the Middle Triassic faced extinction pressures. However, the most advanced eucynodonts possessed the physiological flexibility to weather these environmental storms. Their sophisticated metabolism, enhanced sensory systems, and behavioral adaptations provided the resilience necessary for survival. The transition from advanced cynodonts to true mammals represents one of the most gradual and well-documented evolutionary transformations in the fossil record. By the latest Triassic and earliest Jurassic periods, creatures like Adelobasileus and Cynoconodon displayed an extraordinary mosaic of mammalian and reptilian characteristics. These transitional forms possessed the three-bone middle ear arrangement characteristic of mammals, yet retained some primitive features in their jaw structure and dental arrangement. The development of the mammalian middle ear deserves particular attention, as it represents one of the most remarkable examples of evolutionary repurposing in natural history. The articular and quadrate bones, which formed the jaw joint in reptiles and early therapsids, gradually migrated to become the malleus and incus of the mammalian middle ear. This transformation occurred over millions of years, with intermediate forms showing dual functionality. These bones continued to participate in jaw articulation while simultaneously beginning to transmit sound vibrations. Eventually, the dentary bone assumed complete responsibility for jaw articulation, freeing the former jawbones to specialize entirely for hearing. This auditory revolution had profound implications for mammalian evolution. Enhanced hearing capabilities allowed for more sophisticated communication, better predator detection, and improved spatial awareness. The ability to detect high-frequency sounds opened new ecological opportunities, particularly for nocturnal lifestyles that would become characteristic of early mammals. The precision of mammalian hearing would later prove crucial for echolocation in bats and complex social communication in many mammalian species. The dental innovations of late therapsids and early mammals represented another crucial evolutionary development. The evolution of precise tooth occlusion, where upper and lower teeth fit together perfectly during chewing, allowed for much more efficient food processing. This dental precision required sophisticated neural control and muscular coordination, reflecting the enhanced nervous system capabilities of these advanced creatures. The ability to thoroughly masticate food increased digestive efficiency and supported the high metabolic rates necessary for sustained activity. Brain evolution during this transitional period shows remarkable sophistication. Endocranial casts from advanced cynodonts and early mammals reveal enlarged cerebral hemispheres and more complex brain-folding patterns. The olfactory regions expanded significantly, reflecting the importance of scent-based behavior in these creatures. Visual processing areas also showed enhancement, supporting the acute vision necessary for their increasingly active lifestyles. Perhaps most significantly, the regions associated with motor control and coordination expanded, reflecting the precise muscular control required for their sophisticated feeding and locomotory behaviors. The social behaviors of these transitional forms likely became increasingly complex during this period. Evidence for burrow construction suggests that family groups may have remained together for extended periods. The investment in parental care implied by den-building behavior indicates a shift toward the intensive offspring care that characterizes modern mammals. This behavioral evolution represented a fundamental change in reproductive strategy, emphasizing quality over quantity in offspring production. As the Triassic period drew to a close, the stage was set for the emergence of true mammals. The anatomical, physiological, and behavioral innovations accumulated over millions of years of therapsid evolution had created creatures that possessed virtually all the characteristics we associate with mammalian biology. Hair provided insulation for temperature regulation. Sophisticated metabolism enabled sustained activity levels. Enhanced sensory systems supported complex environmental interactions. Precise dental occlusion allowed efficient food processing. Advanced reproductive strategies ensured offspring survival. The end Triassic extinction event, while devastating to many reptilian lineages, provided new opportunities for these highly adapted creatures. As dinosaurs began their rise to dominance, the ancestors of mammals had already secured their evolutionary foundation. The innovations forged during the long therapsid evolutionary journey would prove remarkably durable, supporting mammalian success through the entire Mesozoic era and beyond. The legacy of this transitional period extends far beyond the immediate survival of mammalian ancestors. The physiological and behavioral innovations developed during the cynodont to mammal transition established the template for all subsequent mammalian evolution. the warm-blooded metabolism that enabled activity independence from environmental temperatures, the sophisticated sensory systems that supported complex environmental interactions, the enhanced parental care that ensured offspring survival, the dental precision that maximized nutritional extraction. These fundamental characteristics, refined over millions of years of gradual evolution, would prove essential for mammalian success in every subsequent ecological era. Thus, as we trace the remarkable journey from early therapsids through advanced cynodonts to the first true mammals, we witness one of evolution's most extraordinary transformations. Each incremental change, accumulated over vast spans of time, contributed to the emergence of creatures capable of thriving in virtually any environment Earth could offer. The patient work of natural selection, operating across millions of years and countless generations, crafted the biological foundation upon which all mammalian diversity would eventually flourish. As we journey deeper into the world of ancient mammals, we encounter creatures that lived in the shadows of dinosaurs, patiently evolving and adapting in ways that would prove crucial for their eventual success. These early mammals, though often overlooked in the grand narrative of prehistoric life, possessed remarkable innovations that allowed them to survive and thrive in a world dominated by reptilian giants. During the late Triassic and early Jurassic periods, around 200 to 180 million years ago, the first true mammals began to exhibit behaviors and physiological adaptations that set them apart from their therapsid ancestors. These creatures, no larger than modern shrews, had developed sophisticated parental care strategies that dramatically increased their offspring's survival rates. Unlike the egg-laying reptiles of their time, many early mammals had evolved viviparity, giving birth to live young that could be nurtured and protected during their most vulnerable stages. The fossil record reveals fascinating evidence of these early maternal behaviors. Tiny mammalian skeletons have been discovered in what appear to be family groups, suggesting that mothers remained with their young for extended periods. This extended care allowed for the development of more complex neural pathways in the offspring, as their brains could continue growing after birth rather than being constrained by eggshell limitations. The implications of this evolutionary strategy were profound, as it enabled the transfer of learned behaviors from parent to offspring, laying the groundwork for the sophisticated social structures we observe in modern mammals. Concurrent with these behavioral adaptations, early mammals were developing increasingly efficient metabolic systems. Their small size, once thought to be a disadvantage, actually proved beneficial in maintaining the high metabolic rates necessary for endothermy. These creatures could regulate their body temperature internally, allowing them to remain active during cooler periods when their cold-blooded contemporaries became sluggish. This metabolic advantage was particularly crucial during the night hours, when many early mammals conducted their foraging activities to avoid the larger predators that dominated the daylight hours. The dental innovations of early mammals represent another remarkable evolutionary achievement. Unlike the relatively simple, undifferentiated teeth of most reptiles, early mammals developed complex dental arrangements with distinct incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Each tooth type served a specific function in processing food, allowing these creatures to exploit a much wider range of dietary resources. The intricate cusps and ridges on their molars enabled them to break down tough plant materials and extract maximum nutrition from their food, while their sharp incisors and canines facilitated the capture and processing of small prey items. Perhaps most significantly, the sensory capabilities of early mammals underwent dramatic refinement during this period. Their enhanced hearing, facilitated by the evolution of the three-bone middle ear system, allowed them to detect the slightest sounds in their environment. This acute auditory perception proved invaluable for nocturnal creatures navigating in darkness, helping them locate prey, avoid predators, and communicate with potential mates. The development of sensitive vibrissae, or whiskers, provided additional tactile information about their immediate surroundings, enabling precise movement through dense vegetation and tight spaces. The olfactory systems of early mammals also reached new levels of sophistication. Large olfactory bulbs in their brains indicate that these creatures possessed an exceptionally keen sense of smell, capable of detecting chemical signatures that revealed information about food sources, territorial boundaries, reproductive status of potential mates, and the presence of predators or competitors. This chemical communication system became fundamental to mammalian social organization and survival strategies. As the Jurassic period progressed, some mammalian lineages began experimenting with arboreal lifestyles. Fossil evidence suggests that certain species developed adaptations for climbing, including grasping hands and feet, flexible limbs, and enhanced balance mechanisms. These arboreal pioneers exploited ecological niches that were largely unavailable to their terrestrial contemporaries, accessing food resources in the forest canopy and establishing territories that provided both sustenance and protection from ground-dwelling predators. The reproductive strategies of early mammals continued to evolve throughout this period, with some lineages developing increasingly sophisticated approaches to offspring care. Evidence suggests that certain species established rudimentary nest sites, carefully selected for their protective qualities and proximity to reliable food sources. The mothers of these species invested considerable energy in maintaining and defending these nursery areas, demonstrating an early form of territorial behavior that would become characteristic of many mammalian groups. During the Middle Jurassic, approximately 170 to 160 million years ago, mammalian diversity began to expand more dramatically. New ecological niches opened up as changing climatic conditions created varied habitats across different regions. Some mammalian lineages adapted to more aquatic environments, developing swimming capabilities and specialized feeding behaviors for capturing aquatic prey. Others became more specialized for life in arid regions, evolving water conservation mechanisms and dietary adaptations that allowed them to survive on limited moisture intake. The social behaviors of early mammals also grew more complex during this time. Fossil trackways and bone assemblages suggest that some species may have engaged in cooperative behaviors such as communal foraging or group defense against predators. These early forms of social organization provided advantages in terms of information sharing about food sources and predator locations, as well as increased protection through group vigilance and coordinated responses to threats. The evolutionary innovations of early mammals during the Jurassic period established the fundamental characteristics that would define mammalian success in the post-dinosaur world. Their endothermic metabolism, sophisticated sensory systems, complex social behaviors, and advanced parental care strategies created a foundation for rapid diversification once ecological opportunities became available. These remarkable creatures, though small and seemingly insignificant in their time, carried within their genetic legacy the potential for the extraordinary mammalian radiation that would follow the end Cretaceous extinction event. The respiratory and circulatory adaptations of early mammals also underwent significant refinement during this period. Evidence suggests that some lineages developed more efficient oxygen delivery systems, possibly including modifications to their lung structure and blood circulation patterns. These improvements supported their high metabolic demands and enabled sustained activity levels that gave them competitive advantages in their ecological interactions. As we continue our exploration of these fascinating creatures, we begin to appreciate how their seemingly modest adaptations during the age of dinosaurs laid the groundwork for one of the most successful evolutionary radiations in Earth's history. The patience of evolution, working through millions of years of gradual refinement, prepared these early mammals for their eventual emergence as the dominant terrestrial vertebrates of the Cenozoic Era. As twilight settles across the landscapes of our Mesozoic world, we must turn our attention to one of the most remarkable chapters in mammalian evolution. The story we're about to explore unfolds not in the grand theaters where dinosaurs performed their spectacular dramas, but in the quiet spaces beneath their feet, in the shadows of towering conifers, and within the protective embrace of ancient burrows. The rise of placental mammals represents perhaps one of the most significant evolutionary innovations in the history of life on Earth. Unlike their egg-laying monotreme cousins or the pouch-bearing marsupials, placental mammals developed a revolutionary reproductive strategy that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of vertebrate evolution. This innovation, known as viviparity, with extended placental nourishment, allowed developing offspring to remain within the protective environment of the mother's body for extended periods, receiving continuous nutrition through a sophisticated organ called the placenta. The earliest placental mammals emerged during the Cretaceous period, roughly 100 million years ago. These pioneering creatures were small, often no larger than modern shrews, yet they carried within their modest forms the genetic blueprints for an extraordinary future. Their skulls reveal enlarged brain cases relative to their body size, suggesting enhanced cognitive abilities that would prove crucial for survival in a world dominated by reptilian giants. Archaeological evidence suggests these early placentals possessed remarkably sophisticated sensory systems. Their inner ear structures indicate acute hearing capabilities, likely tuned to detect the subtle sounds of approaching predators or the movements of invertebrate prey. Fossilized skull fragments reveal enlarged olfactory bulbs, pointing to a keen sense of smell that would have allowed them to navigate their environment with precision, locating food sources and detecting chemical signals from potential mates or territorial rivals. The dental innovations of early placental mammals deserve particular attention. Unlike the relatively simple teeth of their predecessors, these creatures developed complex dental batteries with precisely aligned cusps and cutting edges. This dental sophistication allowed them to process a diverse array of food sources, from tough plant materials to protein-rich insects and small vertebrates. The ability to extract maximum nutrition from available resources provided a significant survival advantage in competitive ecosystems. Behavioral adaptations accompanied these anatomical innovations. Evidence from fossilized burrow systems suggests that many early placental mammals were accomplished diggers, creating elaborate underground networks that provided protection from predators and harsh environmental conditions. These subterranean retreats also served as nurseries, where vulnerable young could develop in safety, protected by the constant vigilance of their parents. The limb structure of these ancient mammals reveals remarkable versatility. While maintaining the basic tetrapod body plan, placental mammals developed increasingly sophisticated musculature and joint articulations that allowed for diverse locomotory strategies. Some species became accomplished climbers, their grasping digits and flexible spines enabling them to navigate the three-dimensional world of forest canopies. Others specialized for rapid terrestrial locomotion, their elongated limbs and modified foot structures allowing them to outmaneuver larger predators through speed and agility. Perhaps most remarkably, the cardiovascular and respiratory systems of early placental mammals showed advanced characteristics that would later support much larger body sizes. Their four-chambered hearts provided efficient circulation, while sophisticated lung structures with complex branching patterns maximized oxygen exchange. These physiological innovations laid the groundwork for the eventual evolution of massive forms like whales and elephants. The social behaviors of these ancient mammals remain somewhat enigmatic, yet fossil evidence provides tantalizing glimpses into their community structures. Clusters of fossilized remains suggest that some species engaged in communal nesting, with multiple families sharing protective burrows during vulnerable periods. Tooth-wear patterns indicate that certain species may have practiced cooperative feeding, working together to process tough plant materials or capture elusive prey. Reproductive strategies among early placental mammals showed remarkable sophistication. The extended gestation periods allowed for significant fetal development, with offspring born in relatively advanced states compared to marsupials or monotremes. This investment in prenatal development was complemented by extended periods of parental care, during which young mammals learned essential survival skills through observation and practice. The geographic distribution of early placental mammals reveals their remarkable adaptability. Fossil evidence indicates their presence across multiple continents, suggesting either widespread dispersal capabilities or multiple independent evolutionary origins. Their ability to colonize diverse habitats, from tropical forests to temperate woodlands, demonstrates the fundamental versatility of the placental body plan. As we examine the legacy of these ancient innovators, we must appreciate the profound impact of their evolutionary experiments. The placental reproductive strategy, with its emphasis on extended maternal investment and sophisticated offspring development, created the foundation for the extraordinary diversity of modern mammals. From the smallest bats to the largest whales, from the most specialized insectivores to the most generalized omnivores, all placental mammals trace their lineage back to these modest Cretaceous pioneers. The metabolic innovations of early placental mammals cannot be overstated. Their ability to maintain elevated body temperatures through internal heat generation, combined with sophisticated thermoregulatory mechanisms, allowed them to remain active during periods when cold-blooded reptiles became sluggish. This metabolic advantage proved particularly crucial during the climatic fluctuations that characterized the later Mesozoic era. The story of early placental mammals reminds us that evolutionary success often comes not through dramatic innovation, but through the patient refinement of fundamental biological systems. These ancient creatures mastered the arts of efficient reproduction, sophisticated sensory perception, and adaptive behavior, creating a legacy that continues to shape our world today. In their quiet persistence and remarkable adaptability, we see reflected the enduring power of evolutionary innovation to transform life on Earth. As we drift toward sleep, we can imagine these ancient mammals emerging from their burrows in the fading light of Cretaceous evenings, their keen senses alert to both opportunity and danger, their small forms carrying within them the genetic heritage that would eventually give rise to the rich tapestry of mammalian life that surrounds us today. The transition from the Cretaceous period to the Paleogene period marked one of Earth's most significant ecological upheavals, fundamentally altering the trajectory of mammalian evolution. Following the extinction event that ended the reign of non-avian dinosaurs approximately 66 million years ago, mammals found themselves inheriting a world suddenly rich with vacant ecological niches. This dramatic shift in the global ecosystem created unprecedented opportunities for mammalian diversification and expansion, setting the stage for the remarkable evolutionary radiation that would define the Cenozoic Era. The immediate aftermath of the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event presented both challenges and opportunities for the surviving mammalian lineages. During the Mesozoic Era, mammals had remained relatively small and inconspicuous, typically weighing less than a kilogram and occupying primarily nocturnal, insectivorous niches. Their modest size and specialized metabolic adaptations had actually proven advantageous during the extinction crisis, as smaller animals with lower energy requirements were better equipped to survive the environmental catastrophe that eliminated larger vertebrates. In the wake of this mass extinction, the absence of large dinosaurian herbivores and carnivores created a fundamental restructuring of terrestrial ecosystems. Plant communities, previously shaped by the grazing and browsing patterns of massive sauropods and other herbivorous dinosaurs, began to evolve new characteristics. The proliferation of flowering plants, which had begun during the Cretaceous period, accelerated dramatically the Paleogene. These angiosperms offered novel food sources and habitats, providing the foundation for increasingly complex ecological relationships. Early Paleogene mammals responded to these new opportunities with remarkable evolutionary creativity. Within just a few million years of the extinction event, mammalian lineages began exploring body sizes and ecological roles that had been previously dominated by dinosaurs. The development of larger body sizes occurred independently in multiple mammalian groups, demonstrating the powerful selective pressures favoring increased size in the post-extinction environment. The evolution of herbivorous mammals during this period represents one of the most striking examples of adaptive radiation. Groups such as the early ungulates began developing specialized dental arrangements for processing plant material, evolving complex grinding surfaces that could efficiently break down fibrous vegetation. These early herbivores experimented with various digestive strategies, some developing enlarged gut chambers for microbial fermentation, while others evolved more rapid gut transit times to process lower quality plant material. Carnivorous mammals underwent equally dramatic evolutionary changes during the early Paleogene. The mesonychids, an extinct group of carnivorous mammals, evolved to fill the large predator niches left vacant by theropod dinosaurs. These animals developed powerful jaws and robust limb bones, adapting to hunt the increasingly large herbivorous mammals that were evolving alongside them. The early carnivorans, ancestors of modern dogs, cats, and bears, also began their diversification during this period, developing the specialized carnassial teeth that would become their defining characteristic. The evolution of mammalian locomotion during the Paleogene period reflects the diverse ecological opportunities available in the post-extinction world. Some lineages developed cursorial adaptations for life in open habitats, evolving long limbs and specialized foot structures for efficient running. Others adapted to arboreal environments, developing grasping hands and feet along with enhanced balance and coordination. Still others explored aquatic niches, beginning the evolutionary journey that would eventually lead to fully aquatic mammals like whales and sirenians. Brain evolution in early Paleogene mammals represents another crucial aspect of their adaptive success. The expansion of the neocortex in many mammalian lineages during this period suggests that enhanced cognitive abilities provided significant survival advantages in the complex new ecosystems. Improved sensory processing, spatial memory, and behavioral flexibility would have been particularly valuable as mammals explored novel ecological roles and encountered new environmental challenges. The reproductive strategies of Paleogene mammals also underwent significant refinement during this period. The evolution of more sophisticated parental care behaviors, including extended nursing periods and complex social interactions between parents and offspring, allowed mammals to invest heavily in the survival and development of their young. This K-selected reproductive strategy proved particularly advantageous in stable, resource-rich environments, where quality of offspring was more important than quantity. Climate played a crucial role in shaping mammalian evolution during the early Paleogene. The period was characterized by globally warm temperatures and high atmospheric carbon dioxide levels, creating extensive tropical and subtropical forests across much of the planet. These warm, humid conditions supported the evolution of diverse forest-dwelling mammals, while the absence of polar ice caps allowed for continuous forest corridors that facilitated the global dispersal of mammalian lineages. The geographic distribution of continents during the Paleogene period significantly influenced patterns of mammalian evolution and dispersal. North America and Europe remained connected via land bridges for much of the early Paleogene, allowing for extensive faunal exchange between these continents. This connection facilitated the spread of successful mammalian innovations and contributed to the relatively cosmopolitan nature of early Paleogene mammalian faunas. Island biogeography during the Paleogene period provides fascinating insights into mammalian evolutionary processes. Isolated landmasses supported the evolution of endemic mammalian faunas that often displayed unusual characteristics compared to their mainland relatives. These island populations frequently evolved toward extreme body sizes, either becoming giants or dwarfs depending on the specific ecological pressures of their isolated environments. The coevolution of mammals and flowering plants during the Paleogene period created increasingly complex ecological relationships. The evolution of fruit-eating mammals led to sophisticated seed dispersal networks, while the development of nectar-feeding bats established important pollination partnerships. These mutualistic relationships contributed to the diversification of both plant and animal communities, creating the foundation for the rich biodiversity that characterizes modern ecosystems. Marine mammal evolution began during the Paleogene period, representing one of the most remarkable adaptive transitions in vertebrate history. Early whales, such as Pachycetus and Ambulocetus, retained many terrestrial characteristics while developing initial adaptations for aquatic life. The gradual transition from land to sea involved comprehensive anatomical reorganization, including modifications to limb structure, sensory systems, and respiratory physiology. The evolution of flight in mammals also occurred during the Paleogene period. With the first true bats appearing in the fossil record, these early chiropterans had already developed the sophisticated wing membranes and echolocation systems that characterized modern bats, suggesting that the transition to powered flight occurred relatively rapidly once the basic anatomical framework was established. Social behavior in Paleogene mammals became increasingly sophisticated as group living provided advantages in predator detection, resource acquisition, and offspring protection. The evolution of complex communication systems, including vocalizations, scent marking, and visual displays, facilitated coordination within social groups and contributed to the success of many mammalian lineages. The metabolic innovations of Paleogene mammals included refinements to thermoregulatory systems that allowed for more efficient energy utilization. The development of brown adipose tissue for non-shivering thermogenesis, along with improved circulatory adaptations, enabled mammals to maintain high activity levels across a broader range of environmental conditions. Dental evolution in Paleogene mammals reflects the diversification of feeding strategies and dietary specializations. The development of complex tooth morphologies, including specialized premolars and molars for different food processing functions, allowed mammals to exploit an increasingly diverse array of food resources. Some lineages evolved ever-growing teeth to cope with abrasive plant material, while others developed reduced dental formulas optimized for specific dietary niches. The immune systems of Paleogene mammals underwent significant evolutionary refinement, developing more sophisticated pathogen recognition and response mechanisms. The evolution of adaptive immunity, including the development of immunological memory, provided crucial protection against the diverse array of pathogens encountered in complex ecological communities. Sensory evolution in Paleogene mammals included the refinement of existing sensory modalities and the development of new sensory capabilities. Enhanced olfactory systems allowed for more sophisticated chemical communication and environmental assessment, while improvements in visual and auditory processing supported more complex behavioral repertoires. The evolutionary success of Paleogene mammals ultimately laid the foundation for the dominant role that mammals would play in terrestrial ecosystems throughout the remainder of the Cenozoic era. Their remarkable adaptability, sophisticated physiology, and complex behaviors established mammals as one of the most successful vertebrate groups in Earth's history. The innovations that emerged during this crucial period of mammalian evolution continued to influence the structure and function of modern ecosystems, demonstrating the enduring legacy of this remarkable evolutionary radiation that followed in the wake of the dinosaurs' extinction. As we journey deeper into Earth's ancient past, we discover that the evolutionary success of early mammals was built upon a remarkable foundation of physiological innovations that would prove crucial for their eventual dominance. These small, often nocturnal creatures had developed sophisticated adaptations that allowed them to exploit ecological niches unavailable to their reptilian contemporaries. The development of advanced thermal regulation represented one of the most significant evolutionary achievements of early mammals. Unlike their predecessors, these creatures had evolved the ability to maintain stable internal body temperatures through metabolic processes, allowing them to remain active during cooler periods when reptiles became sluggish. This endothermic capability required substantial modifications to their circulatory and respiratory systems, including more efficient heart structures and enhanced oxygen delivery mechanisms that could support the increased metabolic demands of warm-bloodedness. Dental specialization emerged as another crucial adaptation that distinguished early mammals from other vertebrates of their time. Rather than the relatively uniform teeth found in most reptiles, mammals developed differentiated dental arrangements with incisors for cutting, canines for grasping, and molars for grinding. This dental diversification allowed them to process a much wider variety of food sources, from insects and small vertebrates to various plant materials, providing greater dietary flexibility during times of environmental stress. The evolution of enhanced sensory capabilities further contributed to mammalian success during these early periods. Many species developed acute hearing abilities, with some possessing highly sensitive ears, capable of detecting high-frequency sounds produced by insects and other small prey. This auditory acuity was complemented by improved olfactory systems that could distinguish between numerous chemical signatures in their environment, helping them locate food, identify predators, and communicate with potential mates. Brain development represented perhaps the most transformative adaptation among early mammals. Compared to reptiles of similar body size, these creatures possess proportionally larger brains with more complex neural architecture. This enhanced cognitive capacity enabled more sophisticated behaviors, including improved spatial memory for navigating complex three-dimensional environments, better predator avoidance strategies, and more nuanced social interactions within their communities. The evolution of specialized limb structures allowed early mammals to exploit arboreal and terrestrial habitats with remarkable efficiency. Many species developed grasping digits and flexible joints that enabled them to climb effectively through vegetation, while others evolved cursorial adaptations for rapid movement across open ground. These locomotory innovations opened up new ecological opportunities and provided escape routes from larger predators that dominated terrestrial environments. Reproductive strategies among early mammals also underwent significant refinement during this period. Many species developed more sophisticated parental care behaviors, with some constructing elaborate burrows or nests that provided protection for their vulnerable offspring. The evolution of mammary glands allowed for extended nurturing periods, during which young could develop the complex behaviors and skills necessary for survival in challenging environments. Social organization became increasingly complex among various mammalian lineages, with some species developing rudimentary communication systems and cooperative behaviors. These social adaptations provided advantages in predator detection, resource acquisition, and territory defense, contributing to the overall survival success of group living species. The digestive systems of early mammals also evolved to become more efficient at extracting nutrients from diverse food sources. Many species developed longer intestinal tracts with specialized chambers that could better process plant materials, while others evolved acidic stomach environments capable of breaking down bone and other difficult-to-digest materials. These digestive innovations supported the energetic demands of endothermic metabolism while maximizing nutrient extraction from available food resources. As environmental conditions continued to fluctuate throughout the late Cretaceous and early Paleogene periods, these accumulated adaptations positioned mammals to take advantage of new opportunities. Their small size allowed them to survive in refugia during catastrophic events, while their physiological flexibility enabled rapid exploitation of vacant ecological niches in post-extinction environments. The integration of these various adaptations created a biological platform that would prove remarkably successful in the changing world of the Cenozoic era. Enhanced thermoregulation provided stability in fluctuating climates, while improved sensory systems and cognitive abilities allowed for rapid behavioral adaptation to new environments. Dental and digestive specializations enabled exploitation of emerging food sources, and sophisticated reproductive strategies ensured successful population establishment in newly available habitats. These foundational innovations established the mammalian body plan and behavioral repertoire that would serve as the basis for the extraordinary adaptive radiation that followed the end Cretaceous extinction event. From these humble beginnings emerged the diverse array of mammalian forms that would come to dominate terrestrial ecosystems, eventually giving rise to the remarkable biodiversity we observe in modern mammalian communities across the globe. The remarkable expansion of mammalian diversity following the Great Extinction event was accompanied by equally impressive innovations in sensory systems and neural architecture. These adaptations would prove fundamental to mammalian success throughout the Cenozoic era, enabling them to exploit ecological niches with unprecedented sophistication and precision. Enhanced visual systems emerged as a critical adaptation among early mammals, venturing into diurnal lifestyles. The development of more complex eye structures, including improved lens clarity and expanded retinal surfaces, allowed for better depth perception and motion detection. Many lineages evolved color vision capabilities, particularly those that would eventually give rise to primates, enabling them to distinguish ripe fruits from unripe ones and detect subtle environmental changes that could signal danger or opportunity. Equally significant was the evolution of a sophisticated hearing apparatus. The distinctive three-bone arrangement of the mammalian middle ear, inherited from their synapsid ancestors, underwent further refinement during this period. These tiny bones, the malleus, incus, and stapes, created an amplification system that dramatically enhanced sensitivity to sound vibrations. This adaptation proved especially valuable for nocturnal species, allowing them to navigate in darkness and detect both prey and predators through auditory cues alone. The sense of smell reached extraordinary levels of complexity in many mammalian lineages. Expanded olfactory bulbs and increasingly intricate nasal cavity structures enabled mammals to process vast arrays of chemical information from their environment. This chemosensory sophistication allowed for complex social communication through scent marking, territory establishment, mate selection, and even emotional state recognition among group members. Tactile sensitivity also underwent remarkable development, particularly in the evolution of specialized mechanoreceptors throughout mammalian skin and appendages. Whiskers, or vibrissae, became highly sophisticated sensory organs capable of detecting minute air currents and providing detailed spatial information about the immediate environment. These adaptations proved especially valuable for burrowing species and those active in low-light conditions. The integration of these enhanced sensory systems required corresponding advances in neural architecture. Mammalian brains expanded significantly in both size and complexity during the Paleogene period, with particular growth in regions responsible for sensory processing, memory formation, and behavioral coordination. The development of larger cerebral cortices enabled more sophisticated information processing and decision-making capabilities. Thermoregulation underwent remarkable refinement during this period, with mammals developing increasingly precise mechanisms for maintaining optimal body temperature across diverse environmental conditions. Sophisticated circulatory adaptations, including countercurrent heat exchange systems, allowed mammals to thrive in environments ranging from frigid mountain peaks to scorching desert landscapes. Behavioral thermoregulation also evolved, with many species developing complex migration patterns and shelter-seeking behaviors. The evolution of complex social structures became increasingly evident during this period, facilitated by enhanced communication capabilities and cognitive development. Many mammalian lineages developed intricate social hierarchies, cooperative hunting strategies, and elaborate mating rituals. These social adaptations provided significant advantages in resource acquisition, predator avoidance, and offspring survival. Reproductive strategies continued to diversify, with many lineages developing increasingly sophisticated approaches to courtship, mating, and parental care. Extended gestation periods became more common, allowing for greater fetal development before birth. Postnatal care also became more elaborate, with many species developing complex nursing behaviors and extended periods of offspring dependency. The digestive systems of mammals underwent considerable specialization during this period, enabling exploitation of diverse food sources with remarkable efficiency. Herbivorous species developed complex multi-chambered stomachs and extended intestinal tracts to maximize nutrient extraction from plant material. Carnivorous lineages evolved powerful jaw muscles and specialized teeth for processing meat efficiently. Locomotory adaptations reached new levels of sophistication as mammals radiated into diverse ecological niches. Cursorial adaptations for high-speed running evolved in open grassland species. while arboreal specializations developed in forest-dwelling lineages. Aquatic adaptations emerged in several independent lineages, leading to the evolution of specialized swimming capabilities and diving behaviors. The respiratory systems of mammals continued to evolve, increased efficiency, supporting the high metabolic demands of endothermic physiology. Sophisticated lung structures with extensive surface area for gas exchange enabled sustained high activity levels. Diaphragmatic breathing became more refined, providing precise control over respiratory rate and depth. Dental evolution accelerated dramatically during this period, with remarkable diversification in tooth structure and arrangement reflecting dietary specialization. Herbivorous species developed complex grinding surfaces and continuously growing teeth to handle abrasive plant material. Carnivorous lineages evolved sharp, blade-like teeth for slicing meat, while omnivorous species developed versatile dental arrangements capable of processing varied food sources. The cardiovascular systems of mammals underwent significant refinement, with the evolution of more efficient four-chambered hearts and sophisticated circulatory networks. These adaptations supported the high metabolic rates necessary for endothermic physiology while enabling rapid distribution of nutrients and oxygen throughout increasingly large and complex body structures. Immune system complexity increased substantially during this period, providing mammals with enhanced protection against pathogens and parasites. Sophisticated lymphatic systems and adaptive immune responses enabled mammals to survive in diverse environments with varying disease pressures. These immunological advances proved crucial for species expanding into new geographical regions and ecological niches. Metabolic flexibility became a hallmark of mammalian physiology, with many species developing the ability to adjust their metabolic rate in response to environmental conditions. Hibernation and torpor strategies evolved in several lineages, enabling survival during periods of resource scarcity. These adaptations proved particularly valuable for species inhabiting seasonal environments with fluctuating food availability. The integration of these diverse physiological and behavioral adaptations created a foundation for the remarkable mammalian diversity that would characterize the remainder of the Cenozoic era. Each innovation built upon previous developments, creating increasingly sophisticated organisms capable of thriving in virtually every terrestrial environment on Earth. Communication systems evolved remarkable complexity during this period, with many mammalian lineages developing sophisticated vocal, visual, and chemical signaling capabilities. These communication advances facilitated complex social interactions and enabled the coordination of group behaviors that provided significant survival advantages. The evolutionary trajectory established during the Paleogene period would continue throughout the subsequent Neogene period, leading to the emergence of the diverse mammalian fauna that would eventually include our own lineage. The adaptations that emerged during this crucial period in mammalian evolution represent some of the most remarkable examples of biological innovation in the history of life on Earth. The mammalian lineage that emerged from the shadow of the dinosaurs underwent a remarkable transformation during the Paleocene and Eocene epochs, as the Earth's climate shifted dramatically and new ecological opportunities beckoned. In the warm, humid world that followed the Great Extinction, small generalized mammalian forms began to diversify at an unprecedented pace, filling niches left vacant by their reptilian predecessors. The early Paleocene witnessed the emergence of primitive ungulates, small hoofed mammals, that would eventually give rise to the vast diversity of herbivorous mammals we see today. These early forms, such as Condylarthra, possessed simple, low-crowned teeth suitable for browsing on soft vegetation. Their limbs retained a primitive structure with 5 digits and a plantigrade stance, yet they represented the foundational stock from which horses, cattle, and countless other ungulate lineages would eventually evolve. Simultaneously, the ancestors of modern carnivores began to establish themselves as the dominant predators of the post-dinosaur world. The early members of the order Carnivora, including primitive forms like miacids, displayed characteristics that would become refined over millions of years. These small arboreal creatures possessed retractable claws and carnassial teeth, innovations that would prove essential for their descendants' success in capturing and processing prey. The development of specialized feeding strategies became increasingly important as mammalian communities grew more complex. Some lineages evolved toward herbivory, developing sophisticated digestive systems capable of breaking down cellulose and other plant materials. Others maintained their carnivorous habits, refining their hunting techniques and developing more efficient methods of prey capture and consumption. A third group adopted omnivorous strategies, maintaining dietary flexibility that would prove advantageous in fluctuating environments. Brain evolution played a crucial role in mammalian success during this period. The enlargement of the neocortex, the outer layer of the cerebral hemispheres, provided mammals with enhanced cognitive abilities that dinosaurs had never possessed. This neural expansion enabled more complex behaviors, including improved learning, memory formation, and problem-solving capabilities. The development of more sophisticated sensory systems, particularly enhanced hearing and smell, allowed mammals to exploit ecological niches that had been inaccessible to their reptilian predecessors. The evolution of social behaviors became increasingly evident as mammalian communities grew more complex. Evidence suggests that many early mammalian species engaged in cooperative behaviors, including communal nesting, shared parental care, and coordinated foraging strategies. These social innovations provided significant advantages in terms of predator detection, resource acquisition, and offspring survival, contributing to the rapid diversification of mammalian lineages. Reproductive strategies underwent significant refinement during this period. The development of more efficient placental systems allowed for longer gestation periods and the birth of more developed offspring. This investment in individual young, combined with extended parental care, increased survival rates and accelerated the pace of evolutionary change. The evolution of complex mating systems, including elaborate courtship behaviors and sexual selection pressures, drove the development of specialized anatomical features and behavioral adaptations. The transition from small, generalized forms to larger, more specialized species occurred gradually over millions of years. As ecosystems stabilized and food webs became more complex, mammals began to occupy increasingly specific ecological niches. This specialization drove the evolution of diverse body plans, from the massive browsers that would eventually become elephants to the swift cursorial forms that would give rise to modern horses and antelopes. Climate change continued to influence mammalian evolution throughout the Paleogene. The warm tropical conditions of the early Eocene gradually gave way to cooler, more seasonal climates as the period progressed. These environmental shifts selected for different adaptive strategies, including improved thermal regulation, seasonal behavioral patterns, and dietary flexibility. Mammals that could adapt to these changing conditions thrived, while those that remained too specialized faced extinction. The development of more efficient locomotory systems became crucial as mammals began to exploit terrestrial environments more fully. The evolution of cursorial adaptations, including elongated limbs, modified foot structures, and enhanced cardiovascular systems, allowed certain lineages to become increasingly mobile. This mobility proved essential for accessing widely distributed food resources, avoiding predators, and expanding into new geographical regions. Marine environments also attracted mammalian colonization during this period. The ancestors of modern whales, dolphins, and seals began their remarkable transition from terrestrial to aquatic lifestyles. These early marine mammals developed specialized adaptations for life in water, including streamlined body forms, modified limb structures, and enhanced diving capabilities. The evolution of echolocation in early cetaceans represented one of the most sophisticated sensory adaptations in the animal kingdom. The expansion of mammalian diversity during the Paleogene set the stage for the even more dramatic evolutionary radiations that would follow. As grasslands began to expand during the Oligocene and Miocene epochs, mammals would undergo another major adaptive radiation, producing the diverse fauna that would eventually include our own species. The foundations laid during these early post-dinosaur millennia would prove crucial for the eventual mammalian domination of terrestrial ecosystems. Throughout this remarkable period of evolutionary innovation, mammals demonstrated the same adaptability and resilience that had allowed their ancestors to survive the Great Extinction event. Their success in colonizing diverse habitats, developing complex social systems, and evolving sophisticated anatomical and physiological adaptations established them as the dominant vertebrate group on land. The story of mammalian evolution during the Paleogene represents one of the most successful adaptive radiations in the history of life on Earth, demonstrating the incredible potential for evolutionary innovation when ecological opportunities arise.